Hello, my paper peeps. This is the last 12 by 12 sheet of paper and the matching ephemera that I've been using in the journal series, The Sage Collection. So how do we use this all up? Because after being in this paper collection, or even in just this color scheme for a year, I don't know about you, but I will not be revisiting these leftovers for a very long time. So let's use it all up today, and I'll show you how. So the first thing you want to do is score at 1.5 inches, and then at 6 inches, and then at 10.5 inches. Now you want to turn the page clockwise, and this is an easy score at 6 inches. And that's pretty much it. Okay, now let's just bone fold these just so that we get really good crease marks, because there's going to be a lot of folding and a lot of cutting. Well, actually not that much cutting on this one. Okay, there are only 2 cut marks that you want to make in this scrapbook journal. And the first thing you want to do is just cut it along this 6-inch score line from the base of the page all the way to the middle section, or the middle score line. Now you turn it over, and the next incision, or the next cut, is really just this section right here. And that's it, you're done cutting your scrapbook journal. So this is the tricky part. You want to fold it over like this, and then fold that left side over, and then the other side backwards. So you have this look right here. And then when you open it, you have these little flaps here, and then this opening here, which we will seal. Now, a lot of the time, what you can do is use that as a pocket, but I like top pockets, so I'm actually going to seal that side up. And then what we're gonna do is make sure we seal that side up, but then the top here, we'll leave it open because I want to use that as a journaling pocket. Okay, so let's go ahead and seal up this section right here. I like using double-sided tape whenever I'm sealing up these thicker pockets, because we're going to be jamming a few things in there. We're actually going to be adding quite a few scrapbook journal elements in this pocket, so I don't know if glue is actually strong enough to keep all the elements in or keep it from opening up on you, so I like using this Scrapbook adhesive there. So now you have this book that opens like that. Now you don't have this pocket anymore, but you do have the top pocket. And if you know me, I love using these OXO Clips. They're awesome for all your scrapbooking. I'll put the link in the description box below so you can grab one of those. It just keeps everything together, if you know what I mean. Now, this is where the ephemera comes in. All that leftover stuff you can use as, in this case, an actual photo layer, or I don't know, what would you call that? Sometimes they'll use vellum to kind of cover over a photo or just add that extra element of scrapbook interest, I guess. But in this case, I'm going to use it as a way to showcase photos underneath. Because of the opening there, I really like how that will just mysteriously bring the image through. Now I can't seem to get this in here. So the good thing with this is I can approach it from this side. There we go. That's how we're gonna approach this because it wasn't gonna happen on the other side there. So let's use the crocodile to secure this. Just so it can spin a little bit so I can get it back into position. I think it just needs a little bit more cropping or a little bit more pinching here. Good. There we go. There we go. That looks better. And here's some leftover ephemera, which I need to use up, obviously. And I'm just going to use it as a backdrop here for the photos that will be showcased right above it or right on it. And then obviously I have to cut it down. And I like that it's just uneven, so I can just trim it down to match the actual look of that paper. So there, that is what I would call a flap closure or a flap opening to this page. Now the next page, or the adjacent page to it, I'm actually going to turn this into a pocket. Because I am a scrapbook journaler, I always have to have journaling pages. This tab ephemera is great for not just defining your scrapbook journals, but as a way to tab journal pages. And I've actually used these extra tabs in my scrapbook cards. So if you're interested in how I used them in cards, make sure you watch this video above, or I'll put it in the link at the end of this video on how I used these journal tabs in scrapbook cards. Now, when I'm adding journal pages to my scrapbook journals, you can use these tabs, but you can use scallop punches to create tabs. But in this case, I had this extra ephemera that is already scalloped, and you can just use this page as a journal page. So I'm just going to throw in some pictures just so you can see how beautiful that is, where this flat page actually becomes a little window to the photos that are displayed underneath. I thought it was a neat idea, just a neat way to use up this ephemera. Okay, moving on to the next page. Again, you have these flat pages that you can do pretty much anything with. And some people will actually attach vellum to them, and which is fine. I think it's a beautiful way of adding paper so that you can display whatever's underneath. But in this case, I'm trying to use up all this ephemera, so we're gonna just go with what we have here. And I actually have these frames, which I think are ideal. I don't know why I didn't use them in my scrapbook journal, but I'd used a few, but not all of them. So here's the leftovers there. I think I'm going to actually create a pocket here. The reason being is that, you always want to add just extra pockets, just in case you want to slip other things into the album. And I like using repositional tape when I'm setting up my scrapbook journals, because I like to see what it will look like the final product without permanently adhering anything. Like everything else is permanently placed except for frames. And this is where this repositional tape comes in. I really like it for that reason, that it's like, okay, I can position everything, and then later on when I decide to put photos in there, then I can use the permanent stuff. See, I'm just using this ephemera here. I've cut it down to size, and I'm not going to create a pocket here. I'll actually just adhere this to that page and then have this flap opening so that you can access the journal page underneath. Okay, I feel as though I need more journaling pages, and this is leftover paint samples that I had been using in my scrapbook journals, and I love the scalloping on top of this. So what I'm gonna do is just cut it down so that it fits perfectly in my scrapbook journals. Now, if you're interested in how I used these paint samples in scrapbook cards and the rest of my journaling, then you'll want to watch the last video that I did, because it shows you how to create beautiful cards out of paint samples. See how that looks? It's great. I just cut it down and it has this beautiful scalloping on the top. Again, another tab design for your journaling pages. And last but not least is this pocket at the top. We cannot forget that. I love adding journal pages to mini scrapbook journals like this, and we have an assortment of leftover ephemera that still needs to be used. So I'm going to use this, and we're going to create some beautiful scrapbook journal pages. Let's not forget the packaging that this came in. I'll use that too. So I actually am pretty bad for that. I will take everything that the company has given me, even this packaging, and I'll use that in my scrapbook journals too. Because in the end, companies pay tons of money to have all this marketed, and so why not use it up? And I actually have a video on how to use up all these free elements that you get with your scrapbook supplies. So check that one out too if you're interested.